And hello, welcome to Open, the show that opens the Bronx and the rest of the world right to you. I am Daren, Jaime. Today, we'll update you on what's happening in and around our borough in New York City. Coming up, we'll sit with an entrepreneur who has carved this path in the independent film industry. And after that, we discuss suicide prevention campus walks, how you can get involved, and why walking is a step towards changing the culture of mental health awareness. And then next, we'll give you an exclusive look at how one salon is helping prom goers feel their most confident and glamorous. And then we'll talk about an upcoming exhibition offering a unique lens into New York City's vibrant history and culture. And lastly, we'll explore the complexities of the living with psoriasis, the emotional challenges, the importance of working with a healthcare provider, and also being able to navigate this condition. So, stay tuned because all this and much more is heading your way. Right now, we're officially open. Hello, everyone. I'm Daren Jaime, and you're now watching Open, a live program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to you. We also want to welcome our viewers to the Manhattan Neighborhood Network, as Open is being broadcast simultaneously on MNN's channels. You can stay connected to us on all of our social media platforms at BronxNet TV. Some things have been going on throughout the past week. We'll take you through it with some Bronx updates. We kick off with community news. Plans to turn a Bruckner Boulevard warehouse into a 2,200 bed, men's migrant shelter facility. They continue to face strong opposition. Residents and political leaders are criticizing the city for using the area as, quote, a dumping ground and for its lack of communication with the community. Our BronxNet reporter, Chris Camilla, brings us the story.
Whenever they want to put things anywhere in the city where they expect the least resistance, they come to the South Bronx.
What was once a quiet warehouse on Bruckner Boulevard is now a battleground.
You have a homeless problem in your own community. You have a violent problem in your own community.
Following a series of protests where community members and leaders oppose New York City's latest plan to install a 2,200-bed men's migrant shelter, expected to be fully operational by June.
Calling on for Mayor Adams, the governor, to give us some answers because this shelter here already, within the past weeks, have not been safe. We have been getting calls from women and children, and many of them have been using illegal substance and have been smoking K2 and things of that nature right here.
Residents, city political leaders, and volunteer safety patrol organization, the Guardian Angels, in attendance expressing concerns about the South Bronx's overhaul of shelters and social service facilities. Guardian's Angel founder and 2025 mayoral candidate Curtis Sliwa says the neighborhood continues to be used as a, quote, dumping ground by city officials.
I mean, how many things can conceivably one neighborhood have? And it's the result of the fact that our local elected officials here don't seem to care, and City Hall just views it as another place where you can put a problem because you'll probably have the least amount of resistance.
The new shelter site focuses on single adult male migrants transferring from over a dozen closing emergency shelter sites and 10 facilities citywide. Bronx residents, even the borough's president Vanessa Gibson, have vocally criticized Adams' administration's lack of communication and consultation regarding the shelter's placement. Some arguing that resources should be allocated to existing shelters, community support programs, and other areas of the South Bronx still in need of significant change.
They need to build a pharmacy. They need to build up things for people that's on the news crying about burnt out women and children, families.
He made this very clear that with our tax-paying citizen dollars, We do not want our money being used for this.
The ongoing debates and protests about the city's migrant reform system come on the heels of an upcoming mayoral and several local elections where representatives, regardless of political background, say a change needs to be made. On Bruckner Boulevard, Chris Camella, BronxNet Community Television.
And thank you, Chris. In other news, another New York City mayoral candidate, Michael Blake, unveiled his Project 2026. It's a forward-thinking movement to combat federal intrusion and sustain New York's development. Our BronxNet reporter Nicole Rosado brings us the details.
One thing that fellow New Yorkers can agree on is that they want their city to thrive, which is why candidate for NYC Mayor Michael Blake unveils Project 2026 to do just that.
If you believe that we should have guaranteed income so we can raise our wages, if you believe that we should not have credit scores used as it relates to what's happening in our communities for rent and home ownership, if you believe we should have universal child care, and quite frankly, that we should not have a scenario where we're sending our tax dollars to DC, but they're cutting our funding, Project 2026 is how we counter that.
Project 2026 NYC is a forward-thinking movement to combat federal intrusion and sustain New York's development.
We've been working through this since Trump got elected, because obviously we've been watching the nonsense on the other side. Now our job is to be the counter. And as people are getting very frustrated and exhausted by what's happening in politics, our responsibility is to say to everybody, you have another option.
Proposed policies include guaranteed income, universal daycare, CUNY tuition exemptions for all adult New Yorkers, and enhanced reproductive and immigrant right protections.
We want to make sure people get out to vote. We want to make sure people see that there's positive opportunities on how to be involved. And we want people to understand that there's a way to organize in their communities. We don't have to just be upset about DC. We should be excited about NYC.
Project 2026 aims to go against laws and regulations that harm New Yorkers and protect our rights as residents. If you would like to join and support the movement, please go to blakefornyc.com to join. Reporting for BronxNet, Nicole Rosado.
And thank you, Nicole. That's all the time we have for our Bronx updates. We are taking a quick break, but we'll have more open when we return.
We're going to start the show right now. This is my favorite part. Ready in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hey, this is Angel, and I am one of the instructors for the in-studio production. Here at BronxNet, we offer classes that can help you elevate, expand, and start your television career. All you have to do is sign up at bronxnet.org/education. For the past 7 years, I have been in various productions, spanning from talk shows, independent films, news reports, art displays, teachings, musical performances, and many more. Ain't that right, Angel? Yeah, you're absolutely right, Angel. There are a lot of creative individuals that we're just waiting to sign up for the class. And if I may, can I also express thank you, Angel. That's all the time we have left. Visit bronxnet.org/education and become a producer by taking the course. The class I offer is also in English, en español y también bilingüe. Nos vemos en la próxima clase.
And welcome back. Since launching out in 2010, the Out of Darkness campus walks, they've actually become an American Foundation for Suicide Prevention's signature fundraising event that's rallying students and young adults in the fight against suicide, which remains the third leading cause of death among those aged 15 to 24. Joining me, we've got the co-chairs of Fordham University's Out of the Darkness Walk. We've got Megan Ruzicka, and we've also got Laila Sayegh. And thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
You know, suicide's a really tough topic, but there's so many people on college campuses in the United States that really have had to deal with this, families that have to deal with the collateral damage. But for yourselves, you made it a personal mission to educate a college campus. Talk to me about why you wanted to work in this cause.
So I've been volunteering with AFSP since I was in high school. For me, just seeing how my community struggled through COVID, I wanted to get involved. And when I came to Fordham and I saw that we didn't have a campus walk, I thought it was a great time to start it, to have that open conversation about mental health on campus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was introduced to AFSP through Megan my freshman year of college, and since then it's been really inspiring to observe all the work that they've done, and I'm so grateful that Megan's invited me to be a part of it with her. I think especially like the day of the walk, it's so easy to see like the community that's come together from the Fordham campus and beyond into the broader Bronx area. And that's truly just like really comforting to see the solidarity that we've been able to create on our campus. And we hope that it continues to grow in the future.
Yeah. Now, to all our viewers, it's called the Out of Darkness Walk. And for people who aren't so familiar with this Out of Darkness Walk, it's a walk for suicide awareness. And how does it go down?
So when you arrive, you're immediately greeted by some of our amazing volunteers. We have activities to start off with. One of our activities is our remembrance bags, and these are bags that people decorate whether they've struggled or for someone that they've lost. And we typically have them lining the walk route. There's about an hour of activities, and then we have a very brief opening ceremony before we start our actual walk. And that's a giant loop around campus, and you can do as many or as little laps as you would like.
Yeah. And as the years have gone by, obviously the numbers continue to grow.
Yes. This last year was our first year ever doing it, and as we approach our second year, we're already raising over $1,000 more for suicide prevention, which is the main goal of the walk. Our fundraising efforts donate a bunch of money to suicide research, to survivors of suicide loss, and suicide education, which could really help break the stigma on other campuses as well as our own, which is ultimately the goal.
Yeah. What advantage do you feel is having youth, young adults really speak out when it comes to the issue of suicide prevention?
I think college students are a population that really struggle, especially with stress and mental illness. So being able to have this open conversation, not only amongst students, but with alumni and faculty members and family members, all who attend the walk, just really demonstrates our support for one another while creating a safe community to have this conversation.
Yeah. And Laila, you're a co-chair, and what's it like being a co-chair? Has it been kind of burdensome trying to get everybody together, corralling the herd, if you will?
We've been really lucky to have a great team of people on our walk committee who are extremely ambitious, and they've really been helping us with outreach efforts and promotional efforts. I think something about being on this side of the walk rather than being a committee member like I was last year is really seeing the organizational side of things and all of the work that goes in behind the scenes to bring all of these different groups together on campus. The day of, it really seems very fluid, but there's a lot that goes into it. And I'm really proud to be a part of it because the work that we're doing is obviously for a good cause. And I think from my perspective, one of the most fulfilling parts is seeing all these different organizations on campus all want to be a part of it so badly, and all volunteer their time and volunteer their students and club members and whatever it may be to help support us in any way. It feels like we're really creating this network of solidarity among multiple different groups.
And Megan, the conversation goes sometimes unnoticed when it comes to suicide because so many people don't even show signs or exhibit signs. You only find out after the fact and after tragedies actually occurred. But you really are on Front Street saying, listen, it's important to have these conversations, but not only just have these conversations, but to provide people with the necessary resources to be able to guide them through. For yourself, knowing what it is as a young adult these days, what society is like, the division, the animosity, the polarity that exists, what's it like on the young adult side for those persons who are really trying to navigate this?
I think that through this walk, we show that no matter what your beliefs are, no matter where you come from, no matter what your background is, we're all here for one another. We have all of our amazing campus resources at the walk as well, our psychological and counseling services. Everyone shows up to show that they are here for each other, and I think that really helps in these times.
Yeah. And Laila, I know also another part that you guys are concerned about is really advocacy, getting the word out, legislation from New York State all the way up to Washington, D.C., really promoting legislation that's going to talk about and deal with suicide prevention. Share with me a little bit, and our viewers, a little bit about the work that's going on with the advocacy component of legislation.
Yeah, so basically a lot of what we do is outreach. And a lot of the purpose of this event is to just bring mental health to the forefront of conversations. And we've really been able to do that through platforms like this and also through outreach at our school. And that's so important because a lot of times, like you said, suicide is kind of behind the scenes and there's a stigma around it and people don't really want to talk about it. And when it is talked about, it almost is taboo or people think it's shameful to talk about. And while Fordham does provide general counseling resources, we feel that the best thing to do is create a network of our peers and a community of peers to really find that solace and that comfort. And so if we are able to spread the word and have more people talking about not just suicide, but mental health and mental health resources in general, the more likely we are to advocate for the resources that we need on campus and beyond in order to combat this issue and make people feel more comfortable talking about it so that they can get help and access the resources they need without feeling stigma around it.
Right. Megan, do you feel that people are talking more about mental health on campus these days and in these spaces in circles?
I definitely feel like it is happening. I feel like we're having more conversations, especially because we see such a great club involvement. And amazing thing about AFSP is that they put on free programming for college campuses. So we're able to have these programs on our campus through funds raised through the walk. So we're definitely able to engage in that conversation.
Yeah. So the walk itself, let's go back. For people who want to participate, find out, what can they do?
It's super easy. You can register online at afsp.org/Fordham. And then once you register, you can create a team, join a team. We have about 20 teams currently, but if you want to create your own, you're more than welcome to. And then once you register, you'll get emails instructing you how to get to campus and with walk day details.
For yourself, it's got to be a great feeling seeing how it went last year, now this year, the amount of people who are coming out and supporting the money that's actually raised. What's it like for you knowing that you're working for such a great cause?
I definitely feel a lot of pride in my community. I think seeing not only Megan, who's done so much, and this wouldn't be possible without her, but the entire walk committee, just seeing all of the efforts that everyone's put in, it's really a rewarding feeling, especially the day of the walk. I'll never forget, like last year, there was something so special about seeing it all come into fruition and seeing families of past and present Fordham students be there. It felt like we were a part of something bigger than Fordham. And so, yeah, it was a really gratifying feeling.
Yeah. And I know for people who've had the opportunity to participate, an opportunity to really just talk, get it off your chest. And when I say get it off your chest, but share the love, all of that. And then at the end of the day, you start planning for next year, right?
Yes.
Well, thank you both for coming and being with us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Glad to have you. We've got Megan Ruzicka and Laila Sayegh with us. And for more information, visit their website at afsp.org/Fordham. And we encourage you, don't go anywhere. We got more open coming up right after this. Yeah, welcome back. Our next guest is a visionary filmmaker as well as an entrepreneur who has carved his path in the independent film industry. With over 13 years of hands-on experience, he's self-taught, self-funded, and the creative force behind more than 15 diverse projects. Telling us now and sharing with us more is the CEO of Jenkins Brothers Nation Films, Gregory Jenkins. And Gregory, good to have you.
How y'all doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. And the work continues for you, huh?
Yes, it don't stop. It don't stop. It goes on like an engine in life.
For yourself, obviously, the opportunity to have this hands-on experience, as you said, for the course of 13 years, getting you to the place where you are. Let's talk about where things are today.
Today, where things at today is just pretty much getting better at it like a sport. You know, with the business, more with the business. It's not too much with me with the craft no more. Um, I mean, of course, the craft it grows with me day to day. It grows with me, but I'm also trying to get the business to grow with me day to day as well. Um, where we at right now is just you know, being more incorporated with insurance, uh, contracts, doing things right, doing uh, better production for others and my team and myself. You know, we growing by the day. Everything we growing by the day. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, and you're talking about the business side, but let's talk about the side that really takes you there, which is the independent film side. To be that independent filmmaker, you made a decision and said, listen, you know what? There's a lot of ways I could go about this, but I'm choosing to be an independent filmmaker. Why did you make that choice?
Good question. A long time ago, when I was in my teens, I'm 40 right now. So when I was in my teens, just being outside every day, seeing different visions, seeing the drug era, seeing I was born in the 80s, you know, just seeing a fast life of people being on drugs, people being alcoholics, people living fast, and I come from that era where a lot of people didn't want to do the right thing. Everybody wanted fast money. And then you did have some people that had their businesses, but they sold out. They sold their business because they wanted the fast money. So when I made the decision to be a film producer, I wanted longevity. I ain't really care for the money. I wanted something I could leave with my kids, which is the last name Jenkins. Um, I incorporated the name Jenkins Brothers Nation 2013, and that right there inspired me, just like the Wayne's brothers. The Wayne's brothers, we got the Jenkins brothers now. You know what I mean? So I wanted to create something like, how can I go from there as a new generation from that to now, and here we are as the Jenkins brothers.
Yeah. Yeah, you talk about being an 80s baby, and we know a lot has happened since since the 1980s until now. Being that filmmaker also gives you the opportunity to share stories and tell stories in your own kind of way of experiences or how you're able to actually, translate that to somebody who may not have been around during that generation or even in this modern present generation. For yourself, the importance of storytelling and the ability to tell
Yeah.
your own story. What's that like for you?
To tell the story, to tell my stories today, it means a lot to me. I have younger brothers. Um, I have like about altogether I have 7 brothers, but from my mother's side, I have 4 brothers. My mother had 5 boys and 1 girl. You know, my brothers, they helped me start the business. They not with the business, but they helped me start the business. Being the oldest out of all my brothers, they helped me start the business. Shout out to Antoine, Sean, Aaron, Taquan. They helped me start the business, and they didn't see a lot. I just wanted to have something longevity where people could go back. Even when you look at old films today, you be like, wow, this is an old movie because it's shot different, or it looked different, or the camera is different. Everything is moving different. So I want people to look at my story, the time, and everything in general, like, wow, he's definitely a long living legend. I want to be a long living legend. To get the story out there and get the message out there to the people that don't know. And it might not fit for this new generation because the new generation is growing up on a different time right now. But the people that's in my era and my time, they know where I'm coming from. They know how we used to live and where we came from, and they're going to see the difference from back then until now. So my inspiration is just pretty much to keep going and put that story out there and keep that engine going.
Talked about inspiration. I got to tap in here to my hometown, Harlem, and it's had an influence on you and the work that you do. Talk to me about Harlem's influence in your life.
Harlem, it's you know, back to the '80s, man. You know that fast life. Seeing a lot of people addicted to the wrong things. Um, I had a family that was addicted to that. Um, I really didn't have a lot of role models. But I did have a street role model. His name was Kentrell. He's a long living legend. He did the right things in the street. And me come from school, 8th grade, 9th grade. Hey, yo, Greg, come here. Give me $100, $200, $300 just for going to school. So I'm like, he was trying to prove a point to the people that was out there actually hustling, and they was around my age, and we all got influence in from the streets, but I just wanted to go I wanted to go the right route. I didn't want to go the wrong route. I was raised by my grandmother. My girl raised me and my 4 siblings and her 5 kids. So we had a packed crib. 10, 11 of us. Almost got caught up in the fast life, but shout out to my partner Raheem Noor's father. He took me in and put me into a program called Truce. It was a reading center, and they did film production. And I almost went the wrong route, but he came to my house. Shout out to Mr. Norris. He came to my house and he spoke to my grandmother and was like, I have a lot of potential and I'm a leader. He told me I'm a leader and told her I was a leader, and people listening to me and people following me, and that stuck with me because he was more like a father figure too as well. And from there, I just went straight with the production right there. You know, and I knew I wanted to do it, but I had to wait till I got a little funds. And, I did 10 years in the city, and I just cashed out my pension and took all that money and started buying equipment and did my production. So that's how I started from right there.
Well, congratulations to you. I know you're doing a great job with the film and the film industry, creating legacy for yourself and your family. For more people who want to watch your stuff and find out where they can see your product, where do they go?
They could go to Jenkins Brothers Nation. The website is www.jbnfilms.com. You could go there. You could go to my IG _JBNFilms. You can see the website right there. Or you could go on Facebook, Gregory Jenkins, and you'll see the link right there with the website and the email. Anybody that want to do production, anybody got any questions about production, anybody want to go about it the right way, contracts, distribution, I'm here. Let's do it.
All right, Gregory Jenkins, we're leaving it there, brother. Congratulations. Keep up the great work, and we look to see you soon.
Right, thank you, man. Have a good day.
All right, you too now. Now, if you want more information again, you can follow and find out on the website, jbnfilms.com. We encourage you don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Open coming up right after this.
19.7% of Bronxites currently experience food insecurity. Meanwhile, instead of these nice, colorful foods, this is the best food that they have access to. If this sounds like you, there are a bunch of resources to get healthy food for free or cheap. If you want to help, you might consider donating or volunteering in one of these places. Community fridges like this one are all over the city and allow New Yorkers to conveniently donate extra food to people who might need it. Go to this link and find your nearest one. Food banks and pop-up events like these provide millions of healthy meals to families in need. These organizations are distributing meals to Bronxites as we speak, and are always accepting donations and volunteers.
And welcome back. Prom season is just around the corner. And if you're looking to step into it with a big night of confidence and glamour, there's one place you certainly don't want to miss. Blushington is the ultimate beauty destination, providing expert makeup and hairstyling to custom wig designs. And Blushington has everything you need to make you look as well as feel your best. We're going to head over now to Brittany Scholar, who gives us a sneak peek at the latest beauty trends for Prom 2025.
Hey Daren, I'm here at Washington on West 57th Street to talk all things prom makeup, from what's trending, how to prep, and some tips to make sure you're ready to dance the night away. Let's head in. I caught up with Blushington owner Jacinda and makeup artist Anari, who took me from bare face to prom night glam. Before you even start to apply makeup, what are some tips that you have to prep your skin to make sure your makeup sits nicely?
So I'd start by prepping the skin, cleansing the skin first, making sure I remove all excess oils, impurities, anything like that. Then I'd go in with a hydrating serum and a moisturizer just so that the skin is properly hydrated before we put makeup on the skin. And then I'd probably go in with like a priming product so that the makeup sits nicely on the skin and wears well throughout the night.
Awesome, so let's get started. How do you tailor different makeup applications to different skin types and skin tones?
So I typically, first of all, tailoring makeup looks to specific skin tones and skin types is the key to creating a flattering makeup look. For skin tones, I try to just, pay attention to my clients, see if they're more lighter complected or darker complected, and make sure that I choose as close of a match to their natural skin complexion. And for skin types, I like to consult with my clients just to make sure that, see how their skin is feeling. Are they oily today? Are they dry today? Do they have combination skin? And just go according to what they tell me and how their skin behaves. And that's pretty much how I tailor makeup looks to specific skin tones and skin types. You really just want to customize your client's natural, unique features.
Whether it was blue eyeshadow and red lips in the 80s, or a hot pink cut crease and bold brows like I did for my prom in 2019, every season sees a new cohort of trends. So Anari talked us through what we may see this year, and it's safe to say teens today are avoiding the post-prom cringe. Let's talk trends for prom this year.
Okay.
Now, I graduated in 2019, and the trends were a whole lot different then.
Same.
So what are we seeing this year with trends for prom?
2025 prom trends, I'm seeing a lot of fresh skin, clean faces. I think that girls now are much more into skincare than we were. So because their access to skincare and their knowledge of skincare, they're going for more natural looks, very soft glam, very like ethereal and just pretty.
Yeah.
So I think that's really what we're gonna see this upcoming prom season.
Yeah, it's like the whole clean girl aesthetic. Regardless of what you wear, prom is a night full of dancing and photos, so it's crucial that we curate a look that holds well and photographs even better. With prom, it's a long night. Sometimes a sweaty night with all of the dancing, and you're gonna be photographed so often. So what are some tips for a long-lasting photographable makeup look?
So for long-lasting makeup that photographs well throughout the night, I'd say you want to make sure that you're layering your products correctly, and also setting those products. So any liquids, any creams, you want to set those so they don't move throughout the night. And also finishing your look with a setting spray so that everything wears nicely throughout the night, lasts long. And also knowing your skin type, so knowing whether you're oily or dry, and making sure that your setting spray combats those things appropriately.
After 45 minutes, it was time to see the final look.
We basically went in and just moisturized and hydrated your skin as much as possible. You did let me know that you were oily, so I used products, that kept that in mind. I went in and I just gave you a soft brow, some nice coverage, not too much. You didn't really need much coverage because, again, we went under and we did some underpainting to color correct before going in with the foundation. And after that, we chose a very pretty, kind of a warm, soft glam eye, a little bit of shimmer, courtesy of Danessa Myricks. She has the best shimmer. Okay. Yes, she has the best shimmer ever. Yeah. So we did some Danessa Myricks shimmer on your eye, cute little winged liner, and we finished with a nice warm lip.
For anybody who may be trying out their makeup and they're beginners and they're doing their makeup for the first time this prom season, what are some tips that you have for them that you want them to take away from this?
I would say try a bunch of different looks first to see what you like, and once you decide on your look, practice up until your prom night, because then you'll get down the time it takes you to do your look. You'll get down the colors and tones that work with your natural skin complexion. You'll work with the colors that work with your outfit for the night, and just practice your look, practice what works, practice your timing and your application, and by the time it's prom night, you'll be set.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you. Aside from prom glam, Blushington offers a wide range of services all under one roof. Indulge in a variety of services from blowouts and hair treatments, on-site and at-home makeup, and a variety of classes, all while Blushington invites you to become the best, most empowered version of yourself. To book your makeup appointment this prom season, head to blushington.com. Daren, back to you.
Some girls have all the fun. Where's the stuff for the guys? All right, Brittany, thank you. Great job. And listen, excellent work by the part of Blushington. Now, if you want more information, go ahead and visit the website at blushington.com. We encourage you, don't go anywhere. Guess what? We got more open coming up right after this. Welcome back. For nearly 5 decades, a Brooklyn-born photographer has used his lens to capture the essence of identity, resilience, and also community. His latest exhibition, Seconds of My Life, photographs from 1975 to 2024, offers an expansive look at his journey from early snapshots of junior high school classmates to striking fashion, as well as street and documentary photography. Joining me now is photographer Jamel Shabazz. And Jamel, thank you so much for being with us.
And thank you so much for having me, brother. It's an honor.
Hey, it's an honor to have you, man. And as you tell your story through Behind the Lens, you've been doing this for a minute now, and it's an opportunity to put a lot of things that you saw together.
That's right. That's right. This year marks my 50th anniversary, so it's a very important time in my life. I started off as a 15-year-old kid in Brooklyn, just trying to find my way. And I would have never imagined that 50 years later, I would be sitting here having a conversation with you about my journey.
Well, I'm glad we can talk about your journey because it's very important to talk a little bit about this here because you spent a lot of time going through New York City, and New York City is vast. But talk to me about some of the things that you're doing in terms of, or have done in terms of, putting New York City in view.
Well, the cornerstone of my work was really about connecting with young people. I returned back to the States in 1980 after serving time in the military overseas in Germany, and I came home to a war zone. I came home to the AIDS epidemic, and a few years afterwards, the crack epidemic. So it was a very critical time, and I found that the camera was a compass, and it was a time machine that allowed me to connect with a lot of young people. And I used that opportunity to speak to them about what was going on. So the photograph brought me to them and allowed me to have communications with them. Then I would photograph them, give them copies, and help to build bridges. But I needed to know what was going on. Why were so many young people dying? So what people don't really understand when they look at my work, it was really about connecting with young people, getting a sense of what was going on, serving as a mentor, and then taking the photograph as evidence of the conversations I've had with the thousands of people I've met throughout my life. It started in Brooklyn, then it would take me to the Lower East Side, to 42nd Street, Harlem, and to the Bronx. And my intentions was always the same. My love for photography was there, but I was more concerned with saving the lives of young people. Because around that same time, I became a correction officer, a New York City correction officer, and I started to witness things in real time. And I saw the even deeper urgency to speak to young people to try to divert them from that path of incarceration.
So as you talk about your work and you talk about helping young people divert and seeing what was going on, as I shared in a previous segment, part of what you do is really the art of storytelling and being able to tell that story from behind the lens. And for somebody who's on the other side of it, who gets to look at a picture, who gets to look at an exhibition, what do you want people to take away from the story that's being told and then Jamel Shabazz's work?
I want people to understand the importance of documentation, and family photographs. Because for me, it started with the family photo album that sat center stage on our coffee table. And within those albums, the history of the family going back generations was there. And that was very important. So early on in my life, I understood the value of photographs and preserving the family history. So what I want young people to see is the importance of photography and documentation. And I want them to look at the work that they have in front of them. And I want them to understand the importance of image making and becoming photographers. And that's very vital because all of us are seeing things with our eyes, and it's important to record our legacy. As we get older, we can look back. And for me personally, I want to be used as an example of possibility. Because my work is really grounded in documenting communities. So when young people look at my work, they can see their communities. Whether it's Brooklyn, it's the Bronx, it's Queens, they see their local community and the value of it. So it is my hopes that people will look at my work and draw inspiration to want to pick up the camera.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about where some of your work has been seen. Studio Museum in Harlem, and then you've also, Russ Philanthropic Arts Foundation, Bronx Museums, Teen Council Youth Program, International Center of Photography, Friends of Island Academy, Mural Arts Program, Germantown, Pennsylvania. Your work is local, your work is national, international. And so for yourself, 50 years in, taking a look, saying, listen, I've been able to capture a lot of different things. Talk to me about that preservation, because that's one of the things that gets missed or gets lost, especially as people are trying to erase history these days, the opportunity to preserve.
In my artist statement, I speak about my role. And my role is to contribute to the preservation of world history and culture. Not only New York City history and culture, but all the cities and countries I traveled to over these past 50 years and document it. I want that work to go into archives around the world, and it is. Because I feel that God gave me the ability to see. And with this gift, I have a responsibility to use it to contribute to making a difference in society. So my work belongs in institutions, it belongs to the people, and that's what drives me to produce books at a very affordable rate so people can have them. And I'm driven to put my work in collections all over because I just feel that it needs to be preserved. So that's very important with me because, like I said, it doesn't belong to me. Everything I do is designed to just be a contributor, like those who came before me. When I look at the work of James Vanessy and Gordon Parks, they are gone, but their legacy lives on within their work. And through their work, I'm able to get a glimpse of what was going on during the Harlem Renaissance and during the 1950s and 60s. So what I'm striving to do right now is leave a footprint for both the current generation, but generations to come, and how life was in the 70s, 80s, and to this present.
You talk a little bit about Gordon Parks and Vandersea, but when you think about the work that they've done, a lot of their photos were really geared and pushed people towards social change.
Yes.
Talk about them influencing your life. Do you find that your work is actually influencing social change too?
Oh, no doubt about it. Because I grew up looking at both their images, but also being a child of the 1960s, I grew up during the era of the Vietnam War. And I saw the importance of protest images, both from the civil rights movement and from those that were protesting war in Vietnam. So when my time came to protest, I had to be out there in the front lines as well. So during the 1980s in particular, the 80s and 90s, when there were issues of police brutality, I was out there with my camera documenting those protests. When the war in Iraq and Afghanistan took place, I was out there documenting the anti-war movement, both in this city, but cities across America. So it's very important for me to lend my voice in that conversation to create images that provoke thought and preserve history and address issues that are pressing. And even today, with all that is going on, I'm still out there in the front lines documenting what's going on, because the conversations are still very relevant right now. And as visionaries, we need all hands on deck to participate in documenting these movements to enlighten people what's going on. So it's a very important part of my creative process, to document issues that are pressing. I started off documenting the horrors of prostitution, addiction, and incarceration. And that plays a major role in my work. And it's created to serve as talking points as well. When I go into institutions to speak to young people, I use the global language of photography to stimulate them. And through those images, it makes them think. Not only, hear me, but now through my images, you can see and conceptualize what I'm trying to convey.
Yeah. For yourself, obviously, it's got to be a great feeling having 50 years in this business and then being able to actually showcase your work. And so it's going on between now and April the 20th. What do you want people to know?
I just want people to just step into my world and know that everything I do is for the people. I'm the people's photographer. And to learn more about my work, they can go to my Instagram feed, because it's deep into photography. It's about being a source of inspiration and using my voice and platform to be a light in these dark days. So I want them to go and see the exhibition and realize that it's for them, to draw inspiration, to see possibility, to know that I was just a 15-year-old kid out of Brooklyn with no real sense of direction. But once I picked up the camera, it guided me on a path that led me to a degree of success. And there's a lot of possibilities there. But more important, I want them to see the Bronx Documentary Center and the fact that that institution is an oasis in the South Bronx and it's there for the community. It has an after-school program. It has a youth program. It has a senior program. It feeds the community. And I want them to support that institution and know that that institution is there for them. So aside from looking at my work, I want them to take time and speak to the volunteers and staff there to learn more about how they could benefit from that institution and even at the same time support it.
Well, congratulations on the anniversary, 50 years, Jamel, Shabazz, photographer, and great to have you with us, my brother. And certainly we're going to tell people how they can find you right now. So thanks a lot for being with us.
And thank you for having me, brother. All the best.
Hey, congratulations again. Happy anniversary. Listen, the exhibition is happening now until April the 20th at the Bronx Documentary Center. If you want to know where the Bronx Documentary Center is, please go 364 East 151st Street. And if you want more information, go ahead and visit the website at JamelShabazphotographer.com. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Open coming up right after this.
What's up, creative family? Discover your voice with BronxNet Community Media classes. Are you ready to bring your ideas to life? At BronxNet, we offer television production classes for community members ages 18 and over, empowering you to share your vision with the world. Get certified in field production, in-studio production, and our new exciting addition, podcast production. Once certified, you can create your own show to air on one of our 6 TV channels. It all starts with our free Unleash Your Ideas Masterclass, designed to help you plan your show idea and set you up for success on your production journey. This class is offered at the beginning of each month for your convenience. Our dedicated BronxNet team is here to support, encourage, and uplift you every step of the way. Join us and become a part of the creative force that engages and inspires the Bronx community and beyond. Sign up today and start your media journey with BronxNet. Visit bronxnet.org/education to learn more and register. Let's create something amazing together.
We are back. Psoriasis is more than just a skin condition. It's a chronic disease affecting both the body and the emotional well-being of those who live with it. The journey to finding the right treatment can be long and frustrating, often marked by setbacks and feelings of isolation. Joining me now is the board-certified dermatologist, Dr. Omar Noor, and psoriasis patient Mark. And thank you so much, Dr. Moore and Mark, for joining us. And I'll start with you first, Dr. Noor. Tell us a little bit about psoriasis from the perspective of, as I said, many people just, labeled it as one thing, but the reality is it's a whole lot deeper.
Yeah, no, thank you for having us, Daren. And psoriasis is a very important topic because it really does affect people on multiple levels. It's an inflammatory disease that's due to an overly active immune system. And that overactive immune system produces inflammation in the skin that causes thick, silvery, scaly plaques that are itchy, uncomfortable, they flake, and they can cause a lot of emotional distress because patients will come in saying that they feel that people look at them differently. Sometimes a patient will come in and say, oh, I think that person thinks that my rash is contagious. And we're here to talk about, there are a lot of options, the newer options to help improve their condition.
Yeah. So you have this autoimmune disease in psoriasis, but then also, as we said, the physical condition is affected, the emotional condition is affected as well. And when patients come through your door, what's the experience like for you?
It varies. Psoriasis is a full spectrum. I had a woman come in not too long ago. I'm located in the New York area, and I had a woman come in who had psoriasis. She was older, about 40 years old, had a child. Her mother had psoriasis, and she was worried if she could hold her child because she thought that she was going to give the psoriasis to her child because she felt that her mother had given her the psoriasis because she had touched her. So, every kind of scenario is different. I think the most important thing is if you feel you have psoriasis, if you have any signs, any symptoms, you want to reach out to a dermatologist. Start the discussion, start the communication. Know that we have treatment options, that there might be some miscommunication around whether it's contagious or not, and know that we can get you better.
Yeah. I want to bring Mark in on the conversation right now. And Mark, as a patient, first going through psoriasis, talk to me about the process and as you were finally diagnosed with psoriasis, what was it like in the initial phases before you actually found out you had psoriasis? What were some of the symptoms you were dealing with?
Well, and I was diagnosed with psoriasis very early in life. I was 7 years old. It was 1962. Student in school, noticed a lot of spots on my arms and didn't know what they were. Mother took me to a dermatologist and he said, hey, he's got psoriasis. That wasn't a real big surprise for my parents. My maternal grandfather had severe psoriasis, and we knew back then that, if you had relatives that had a history of psoriasis, then, there was a fair chance that you would get it too. What does amaze me, though, is the maybe cultural revolution isn't exactly the way to describe it, but when I was a kid, and you watch Johnny Carson or any of the late night shows, and they would talk about the heartbreak of psoriasis. Mm-hmm. And they would talk about it as if it were a joke. Oh, he's got the heartbreak of psoriasis. And people didn't understand how hard of a disease it is. how hard it is to live with psoriasis, the itching, the pain that you can get, the bleeding when they crack and bleed. Nowadays, you can't scan across the TV dial without seeing a psoriasis commercial. And so now there's a lot of top of mind awarenesses and the treatments have gotten so advanced with biologics that even the worst cases of psoriasis, like I have had myself, they can be cleared up or almost cleared up. I just have, maybe a spot on my head and a little bit in my ears. I used to be covered 95% with psoriasis. So
Right. Well,
things have really changed.
Well, I do want to come back to you in just a second. I want to bring Dr. Noor in one more time and ask about that, because the treatment options for those with psoriasis have changed dramatically. We heard Mark talk about, being diagnosed since 7 years old, but so much progression has been made in the area of medicine to actually deal with psoriasis. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I mean, we're blessed to be in this age of medicine where there's just so much research going on, new advances in techniques, and even new advances in treatment options. So one of those treatment options that I've had a lot of great success with is a medication called Ilumya, which is a biologic for moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. And it offers the ability to do in-office injections because every person is different, every scenario, we do have a lot of different options. And you really want to make sure that you find a dermatologist, you talk about your journey, you as an individual, to make sure that you're being treated with the right option for you. And allowing for those in-office injections really allows for just 4 touch points a year just to see the progression that you're having with the treatment.
Yeah. And before we go, I mean, there is this stigma. I mean, I got to get out of here, and I've only got a couple seconds left, and I don't want my producer wringing my neck. But there is this stigma that's associated with psoriasis. Very quickly, if you could have a couple of words on how to break that stigma.
You're right, there is a stigma. The stigma is a lot of patients feel hopeless, you feel uncomfortable, you feel isolated. Know that there are options. Reach out. There are so many options out there to look better, feel better, and really just reach out to your dermatologist and advocate for yourself, advocate for self-love.
Yeah.
And for more information, you can go to illumya.com/iluvya. That's ILUVYA.
Thank you so much, Dr. Noor, for being with us. Mark, for sharing a bit of your story, and certainly keep up the good work in terms of providing the resources and the awareness with regards to psoriasis. We appreciate you both being with us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Daren.
All right, thank you. Listen, now, if you want more information, go ahead and visit the website at illumya.com/I-love-you. There you can find out about psoriasis. And if you notice anything about Mark and also Dr. Noor, that patient-doctor relationship makes all the difference in the world. Well, come to the end of our show today. I want to thank all of our guests for joining us and you, the viewer, for tuning in. If you missed any part of today's show, you can catch the recablecast right here on Optimum's Channel 67. Verizon Files, that's Channel 2133, or watch us anytime on the web at BronxNet.org. If you are looking for a brand new episode, yes, you can get one. My girl, Rena Valentine, will be back with you on Friday. That wraps up this episode for us. I am Daren Jaime saying, make sure to keep this channel wide open. We say take care and God bless.